Yeah, good morning, everybody. Cruiseman here. It is not even 6 o'clock in the morning here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I am on my way to get some coffee this morning. It's Sunday morning. And I'm actually trying out a couple of different things this morning. I have my HJC helmet on this morning because I'm in the process of testing this Senna 60S, and it connects to the Honda Goldwing pretty much like the 50S. Same situation. It pairs up very easily to pair it. And I have the same connection issues that I had with the 50S and that I've had with every headset so far, and that is that I often have to start and stop it a couple of times to get it to connect to the audio system. And I'm pretty sure, I am 95% sure that is a process because of the Bluetooth, the version of Bluetooth on the Honda Goldwing. It's an old version of Bluetooth, and I just don't think it's a very reliable connection. I never had that problem with the 50S anyway. I never had that problem on the BMW or the Indian. They connected the first time. But I've had that issue with Cardo units. I've had it with every headset I've tried. The other thing I was testing out, much to my disappointment, was this anti-fog spray that I tried on the inside of this face shield, hoping that it would make having a pin lock unnecessary, but as it turns out, it's not that effective. It's made, I think it's made for ski goggles or diving, like a diving mask. But they claim it would work on any face shield or anything, and I just tested it. It's cold enough this morning. It's about 55 degrees out. And it's one of those days where it's 55 degrees, which really shouldn't feel that cold, but it feels like it's 50 degrees or 45 degrees. It feels colder today than what the temperature would suggest. I'm sure you know what I mean. Some days, I don't know if it's because of humidity or barometric pressure or what, but there are days where it feels colder. It's been a while since I've done recording after dark. So I'm anxious to see how this video comes out. This is, of course, the Insta360 Ace Pro. I may be selling this camera if anybody's interested. I've got the new Ace Pro on order, and I think I've had this one, I don't know, maybe a year? I don't know how long I've had it. I love the camera. Been very pleased with the Insta360. Much more reliable than the GoPro, in my opinion. I was consistently had problems with every GoPro I owned, and I probably owned 5 or 6 different ones, and I constantly was having them basically crash on me, where they freeze up, or you end up back, you know, downloading the video and you find out you have no audio because the audio didn't record properly, or the camera just freezes up and you have to pull the battery out to reboot it. And I mean, it was a constant battle. It seemed like it was just unreliable. I have not had this Insta360 Ace Pro fail on me one time. It has always took a little getting used to some of the settings, but it's always worked. I've never had a problem with the audio not coming out. So I've been very happy with that's why I'm getting another one. Well, as is my custom, I stopped here to pick up some groceries before heading home. Now you can tell that our beautiful summer weather has left. I saw Robert White's video yesterday, which was Saturday here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and it was a beautiful day. But today we have got some pretty serious thick fog, and the temperature's not bad. It's 64 degrees. But certainly not ideal riding weather. It was nice when I left the house this morning. It was actually, it was cool, but it was clear. It wasn't foggy. Now we've got the fog rolling in. A lot of moisture in the air. I'm going to try to make this pink light here. So just a quick update on what's going on at Cruiseman's Garage. I apologize, I only have one camera angle today, just the straight ahead shot. That's because, well, it's because I just forgot to put on the 360 camera up here on the handlebars. But I guess I shouldn't complain about the weather, because at least I'm able to ride. So it's not like we're, you know, freezing cold or pouring rain or snow or ice or anything like that. It's just not very pleasant, but it's 62 degrees right now, so that's easy to handle. I did learn a lesson on pin lock. I had a pin lock shield for my Senna helmet that came with it, and I used it last year, but I had taken it out, of course, for the summertime, didn't need it. Well, when weather started to get colder, I decided to put the pin lock back in, and like an idiot, I decided to clean it. And I basically learned that apparently there's a trick to cleaning a pin lock shield, because it's got a coating on it, and I used a microfiber cloth with some actually I was just using water, but it completely destroyed that pin lock shield. And so if any of you have any tips on how to clean a pin lock shield, let me know in the comments down below. And then I went to order a new one and noticed that they're like $40 to replace. I didn't know they were that expensive. I thought they were like $20. But I guess I'm just going to have to suck it up and spend the money. But yeah, the fog is not pleasant, but it is, we have decent visibility, so it's not terrible. Now, I don't know what it's going to be like up ahead. Looks to me like the visibility is getting a little less. So do any of you guys have any riding in the fog stories you can tell? I can tell one story. I remember leaving in Amarillo, Texas one morning early, about 5:30 in the morning, and it was only 27 degrees outside. It was the coldest I've ever ridden a motorcycle. This was on my 2012 Goldwing, and when I pulled out at 5:30 in the morning, it was actually pretty nice until I got to the outskirts of town, and then the heaviest, densest fog on the highway, and I couldn't see 25 feet in front of the bike. That was scary, because I was afraid, you know, if there was a car behind me, they wouldn't be able to see me. And it was really, really sketchy for a while. You get on interstate, I believe it's Interstate 40, And then right after you get out, maybe 5-10 miles outside of town, you exit off to go toward Dallas-Fort Worth on some smaller highways. And fortunately, just about the time I exited off to get on the other highway, I think it's 289, I can't remember now, the fog started to clear up. And so it was only sketchy for about 10 miles, but that's my scariest riding in the fog story. I do want to update you on, I forgot to mention it when I got on the bike, I'm on Shadow heading home. So I know Mac is going to be watching, and he's going to be wondering how come I didn't mention the name of my bike. Some of you probably watched the video where we got the name for this motorcycle, and we had a contest, and I had about 350 entries for the name, and a lot of the not a lot, but several of the names were duplicates. Several different people suggested Shadow, several suggested Ghost, several suggested Pearl. There were several names that multiple people submitted as entries, and the rules, and I stated this right up front, that if there was a case where multiple people submitted the same name, I was going to select the earliest entry. And it turns out that Shadow was the 13th entry on the very first day of the contest. And I think there were some people that were wondering, they may have thought they had entered a winning name sooner, but that was a very early name that was submitted. So just so you know, in case you also submitted the name Shadow or Ghost or Whisper, please understand that if you did not win the prize, it's only because somebody submitted the same name prior to you. I used a website called JotForm for the entries, and each entry shows the date and the entry number, the actual number of entries in a list. So I was able to tell who entered first. So you may have noticed in the last few weeks I haven't put out a lot of videos. And part of the reason is because I've been working really hard on getting some new videos done for my 2018 Honda Goldwing maintenance video series. I've added 3 videos in the last week. The first one being a 1,000 mile service video. The second one being the 4,000 mile service video. And just today I am releasing the 8,000 mile service video, which basically goes through how to perform all of the inspections and other tasks that Honda recommends for an 8,000 mile service. Now I do modify it slightly because I always change the oil every 4,000 miles. If you look in the back of your owner's manual, you'll find the maintenance schedule, and it'll show you everything that Honda recommends at 8,000 miles. And recently I did a video where one of my friends took his motorcycle in for an 8,000 mile service, and he ended up paying like $600 some, $660 I believe. And it lists all of these different inspections they do. So I thought, well, I'll make a video and I'll show how to do all of these different things that they say are done at 8,000 miles. Now there's a couple of things that Honda recommends that I think are just completely unnecessary. Like the secondary air supply. I find it very hard to believe that a motorcycle with 8,000 miles would require that a service tech remove the fuel tank and inspect the secondary air supply. Removing the fuel tank is not a simple process, especially if you have a full tank of fuel. you'd have to empty all the fuel out. I made that mistake one time on my 2007 Goldwing. I had to take the fuel tank out to replace the rear shock. And like an idiot, I had filled up the tank the day before. And rather than intelligently draining all of the fuel out of the tank, I decided to lift the tank out of the motorcycle with about 6 gallons of fuel in it. It was not fun. And it was actually pretty stupid. I don't know why I didn't just put a siphon in there and drain out the fuel, but I didn't. So I have had to remove the fuel tank on a Goldwing, not this generation Goldwing, but on the previous generation, and it was a pretty big task. And this was before I was really doing videos, so I didn't videotape the process. I took some pictures, but I didn't videotape it. So anyway, there are some inspections that Honda recommends at 8,000 miles, which is also 12,800 kilometers. And those inspections require the removal of the fuel tank. And I'm saying I just kind of doubt that most service techs are doing that. I know they're charging you for it. They're charging you the number of hours Honda says it takes to do that. But if any of you out there are Honda service techs, are you guys really removing the fuel tank and checking the secondary air supply? I've had 5 Goldwings. Some of those Goldwings with as many as 75,000 miles, and I didn't even know what the secondary air supply was, much less have one fail. Have any of you ever had the secondary air supply fail? I'm sorry if I'm getting water on the lens of this camera because the water's coming off the windshield, so you're probably getting some water spots on the camera lens. One thing I don't have to be concerned about is this Senna 60S that I've got on my helmet, because now the Sennas are waterproof, IPX7 rated. And hopefully this week I will be able to pick up another 60S to do some testing. My friend Dale just got a new Arai helmet, full face, and if I'm able to get my hands on another 60S, we're going to do some testing with it. Little end of the year update. I will be once again going to Midland to visit my brother for Christmas. I'll be doing an end of the year video from his house there in Midland. Okay guys, I'm gonna fight this fog and get home and get ready to hopefully cook up some hamburgers for lunch. And I'll see you on the next Cruiseman's MOTOVLOG. And until I see you now, if you like the video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. That really, you can't even believe how that helps my rankings with YouTube. It really makes a big difference, so give it a thumbs up. And until next time, remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.